My name is Andy Crooks, and with me today is Tim Harvie, one of the founders of Glenbow Ranch Provincial Park with the Government of Alberta, and a rancher. Tim, thank you for joining us. And on behalf of all Albertans, thank you for creating this great and wonderful legacy. Now, Tim, you've ranched this property with your father for how long?
Well, Dad began ranching here in the 50s. My sister Katie and I got involved really in the ranching end of it in the 90s. That's when we sort of started taking over management of the ranch.
So this is your career, ranching?
Has been my whole life.
Now, a lot of the visitors to this park are just city folk, a lot like myself. We don't know a lot about cows. They're second nature to you. You've worked with them all your life. For example, how big will a cow grow to be? How much would it weigh?
Well, the cattle industry, there's a number of different breeds and kinds, but so there's a wide range of mature weights of cattle. Our cows are in the 12 to 1,400 pounds per animal range. Cows can range up to 2,000 pounds, and you can have scrawny ones down to 800 or 900, but they're not very productive.
So the big bulls that we see, how much would they weigh?
Oh, they're close to a ton or a little more.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And a calf, when it's born, how much would it weigh?
Anywhere from 60 to 110 pounds would be the average range. We aim for 80 to 90 pound birth weight.
And they are a herd animal?
Yes, very much. They like to stick together, especially if they're under any pressure.
And there's a leader within the herd?
Usually there's dominant animals, dominant cow or a dominant bull that they have a pecking order.
And do they raise their young collectively, or is it an individual parent-child relationship?
There's some group effort made. Mostly it's individually. A cow looks after a calf, but often when a cow wants to go for water, she'll leave her calf behind. You'll find a cow babysitting a dozen or more calves in one location just laying there. So they do babysit for short term when mom has to go do something else.
Now, will you still manage the herd? Do you use horses, or do you ride quads? How do you do that?
Well, we use horses still. It's still the best way to handle cattle. They're more comfortable with man on a horse than on a noisy quad. They will adjust to quads if you're using them all the time, but this landscape doesn't lend itself very well to using quads because it's rough country, and so you can't get to many places. They could hide in the trees or in a steep coulee, whereas the horse can get just about anywhere. Branding
cattle is absolutely fascinating. It seems almost like a language on its own. Each symbol, part of the symbol of a brand, means something, doesn't it?
Well, it's just a symbol is exactly what it is, and it identifies your cattle as yours, so whatever that symbol represents.
So the two brands for the Glenbow Ranch Provincial Park, the Ace of Clubs and the V Hanging Diamonds, would they be older brands?
Yeah, I think the Ace of Clubs was one of the original registered brands in the province. I'm not sure how the V Hanging Diamond is, but they came with the ranch when my grandfather bought it in 33.
In 33. Now, the location of the brand on the cattle also means something. You could have the same brand on the right shoulder, and it means a different owner if it's on the left shoulder.
Yes, that just expanded the number of uses for the brand, or they're more available. You can have it left hip, left rib, right rib, so that was 4 uses for the same symbol.
And this was a mark of ownership. That was its purpose.
That is the primary mark of ownership of an animal.
So when you buy a cow, do you rebrand it, or do you cancel the old brand, and how do you manage that?
If we're keeping them long term, we rebrand them. If we bought a cow that was meant to be here a few years, we would rebrand them. Cattle that are short keep, the ones you might want to just put in a feedlot and finish, you wouldn't bother.
Okay. Tim, thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for sharing the rancher's perspective.
You're very welcome.
And we hope you enjoy your experience of Glenbow. And remember, keep your dogs on leash. This is cattle country. Thanks.